Welcome back to the Central Valley Buzz, everybody. I'm your host, Chuck Leonard. Billy, let's bring in our next guest from Workforce Investment Board. Hello, sir.
Nice to meet you.
You're Brandon.
Blake.
Blake. Okay, they didn't write it down on here. I knew it started with a B. Blake, how are you?
Very well, sir. Thank you.
What's Workforce Investment Board?
We're a joint powers authority between the City of Fresno and the County of Fresno, and we receive funds from the U.S. Department of Labor to retrain unemployed and underemployed workers.
Wow. I would guess that you guys are pretty busy.
That's an understatement. We are. I mean, even though the county unemployment rate in June slipped down to 9.5%, that's the official unemployment rate. It's probably
that's about half of what it was at its high point, right?
Well, the tricky thing about the unemployment rate is that the unemployment rate is the listing of people who are actively looking for work who are still qualified for unemployment insurance.
Right. So their numbers are coming straight from the EDD?
They are, but I mean, I would guess it's probably about double what it is. If you look at also people who are underemployed, those are people who have to take a part-time job to make ends meet. They can't get the type of work they want. Okay.
So people come to you and say, man, I just don't have the skills that I need, or how do you find these people?
Well, there's two things. A lot of people, if you've done the same thing for 30 years and you get laid off from your job, you might not know how what you did at Gottschalk's fits into a new industry.
That could happen to me any second.
So, for that type of person, we have to help you identify what are called transferable skills.
Okay.
What do you know that could be used in a different industry sector? For other people, maybe they need help in actually getting new vocational training in a formal sense, like at a community college or something like that.
So what kind of training do you offer?
Right now we're focused on three main sectors: healthcare, construction, and manufacturing. So in healthcare there are lots of different types of positions for different people with different education levels.
Sure.
That if people can get over two things. One, there used to be a lady named Ginny Burdick who was out of community medical. She called it the ick factor. You have to be able to work around sick people.
Uh-huh.
And two, you have to be able to pass the drug test.
Okay.
So those
the ick factor 2.
So healthcare, there's a lot of positions in healthcare. Construction right now in the valley is going crazy.
It's going to be going more crazy soon, you know. They're putting in a bullet train.
Yes, and we're at the Workforce Board. We're very happy about that. We're training workers for that too. But independent
should young people be getting ready for that?
They
now should be, right?
Yes.
They should be looking into what kind of jobs are going to be available and what kind of training they need to get those jobs. If I was a teenager right now, or if I had a teenager right now, that's what I'd be telling them.
Well, if somebody's physically fit, again, there's a drug test, and they have good math and English skills to the point that they know how to do measurements and they can do computations the way you might expect a construction worker to do. Those are the primary ways that we screen people for that training program. And then third, manufacturing. We don't have a huge manufacturing sector here in the valley. But
do you anticipate that we will?
Well, we have a growing one, though, in the area of water technology. So all the sprinkler valves that people have on their lawns that they're not using, those were all designed here in Fresno. And a lot of the new technology is designed here in Fresno. In the past, it's been manufactured elsewhere, but we have a lot of companies that are involved in plastic extrusion, things like that, Jane Irrigation, Netafim. These are the leading producers of agricultural drip line in the world, and they manufacture right here in Fresno County.
How awesome.
Yeah.
How awesome is that? Now, what's your background? How did you get into this?
Oh, God. About 13, I used to do this for the city of San Jose.
Oh,
and
my hometown.
13 years ago, I applied for a job down here, and two of Supervisor Mendez's predecessors, Supervisors Anderson and Arambula.
What's everybody dropping Mendez's name today?
I don't know.
He's a nice guy. You want to drop his name. But two of his predecessors hired me, and so I moved here 13 years ago.
Yeah. How do you like Fresno?
Like it. I married a local, so I guess I like it a lot.
Yeah, you're here to stay.
I'm here to stay. That's right.
What are some of the things you like about Fresno that opposed to the Bay Area?
Number one, it has to be the people. So I remember when I first moved here, I was walking into the Save Mart over on Nees at about 10 o'clock at night, and a woman and her daughter were walking out of the supermarket, and they said good evening to me, and I instinctively put my hand on my wallet because people talking to you who don't know you, they're up to something. And then I started laughing. I think they thought I must have been drunk or something, because I thought, you're in Fresno. Of course people are polite here. So it's the people. The people are what make it worthwhile.
That's a great answer. If people out there are looking to get better at what they do or get new skills, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, the first thing they could do is they could call our number, which is 559-490-7196, which I think is running on a chyron below me right now. And they could make an appointment to come into our main center, which is at Manchester Mall.
Okay.
And the most important thing that somebody...
Upstairs?
We're both upstairs and downstairs.
Okay.
We got 30,000 square feet,
wow.
So we have a lot of space.
There's a lot of that space for training?
We don't do the training ourselves.
Oh.
We screen trainers. We pay for training, but what we do is we assess people before we send them to training to make sure that they're hireable. So let's say if somebody wanted to become a truck driver, very first thing we'd have to do would be to check their DMV printout. You got a DUI, you're not going to be a truck driver.
Right.
If somebody's going to go work in a hospital, we have to make sure they can pass a TB test. Things like that. We don't want to set people up to fail. So there's a lot of assessment that goes into making sure that somebody gets a quality referral.
Awesome. Okay, Workforce Investment Board.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Thank you very much for coming by. Go see them at Manchester Mall and get yourself a good job. Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Stick around.